Welcome back to our podcast, Redeemed. We're working through Psalms, but before we do that, I have a public service announcement.
PSA.
PSA.
We are moving our podcast day to Wednesday. So they will no longer be dropping on Monday. They will be dropping on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Nailed it. This is also episode 100.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Happy 100.
I think we quit now. I think this is it.
Wow.
This is it, right?
You know, if you'd have told me when we started this that we'd make 100, I never would have actually believed
No,
it.
I would've
I mean,
said
nobody's
that.
watching, so it doesn't really matter. But that just shows that's the ultimate stick to it.
Look at
Nobody
our
watches, and we still keep going.
stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
Episode 100.
Should have had a party.
We should have had a party.
Yeah.
I don't know who would have come, but we should have had a party.
Nobody watches.
Nobody.
Podcast? What's that? You do what?
You guys do a podcast?
Nope.
Nope.
No. Sure don't. You know, if we didn't have such a good time getting together and just talking, we probably would show up for this thing. But part of getting together and doing the podcast is that we get to we get the token.
This is probably better for us than
Yeah,
anybody actually
absolutely.
listening.
It's kind of like
It's
the
cheaper than
Amanda-
therapy.
The sad part is half the stuff we talk about is recorded. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Which I'm not sure is good. Anyway, back to our podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Psalms 39 is where we're at.
Squirrel.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Squirrel.
Oh, squirrel.
And I just like the concept of what David was trying to do here. I don't think he accomplished it completely, but he started out with the right game plan.
Yeah.
It says, I will watch my ways and keep my tongue from sin. I will put a muzzle on my mouth while in the presence of the wicked. So I remain utterly silent, not saying anything good, but my anguish increased. My heart grew hot within me, and while I meditated, the fire burned, and then I spoke with my tongue. Now,
He had a great plan.
he did.
It
He did.
unraveled, though, and
I'm not going to
Three
say
verses.
anything.
Yeah, he did.
Not gonna. Not
Nope.
doing it. I don't care what they do. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to hold my tongue. And then he didn't.
And then he did. And I really think there's a lesson here, especially for Christians. Actually, just for people in general. Let's just be honest, okay? We need to be more careful about what we say. It seems like words nowadays are in overabundance.
Yeah. No,
And
I get that.
our director is chasing a fly.
I can't with this fly. It is driving me nuts. It's so smug. It just flies right over everything.
It does. Right in front of you.
If I had chopsticks, I'd take him out. I can do that.
But words are everywhere. People talking everywhere. People talking about their view, their opinion. They're always putting it out there. They're always trying to get it out there.
Thanks a lot, social media.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Social media has a lot to do with that as we're doing a podcast trying to get ours out there. You know what I'm saying?
Like
Don't listen to their words. Listen to our words.
Like and subscribe.
But the thing here is that David was angry. He was angry at the wicked. And so he started by not saying anything, which I think is important. Sometimes I think we just need to not say anything,
Sometimes silence is golden.
especially if there is, like he's talking about, this burning anger that he had go with it. Because in my own personal life, when I get that frustrated and I get that irritated and I get that mad, that's when I have a tendency to pop off and say things I shouldn't.
Yep.
Like, and then without fail, it always ruins my entire day.
Yeah,
And
that'll happen. You're not gonna get the fly.
I don't want it on my hand if I do kill it.
You're not gonna get it.
I need a fly swat.
I really wish. Is this?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not putting it on there.
Yeah, she is.
I thought about it. I was like, I could probably get it, but I just didn't want fly guts on my hand.
Because Amanda's been chasing this fly for the last 5 minutes or so,
Yeah.
I hate flies.
and I'm pretty sure it flies right in front of her and smiles.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So smug.
So anyway, very distracting. But we're talking about words, and we need to be careful with our words and what we say. Like I said, when I'm angry and irritated, that's when I say things I shouldn't. And I'm not sure that what David said was not right, but I think where he started was where we need to start as Christians as well. I need to watch my ways, keep my tongue from sin. I will put a muzzle on my mouth. And there are some times that things are just better left unsaid.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what was that rabbit's name in Bambi?
Thumper.
Yeah. If you can't say something nice, then don't say anything at all. And sometimes I feel like, I know that's the goofiest little thing, but sometimes it's the best advice that you can give somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Thumper.
Yep. Not everybody needs to say something, especially as Christians. Just to sit there and remain silent sometimes is more important than actually saying something.
That's a fact.
Because you could say the wrong thing.
Yes.
Yeah, more likely to say the wrong thing, especially when you're angry.
Mm-hmm. And that's when you have a tendency, or have more of a tendency to destroy your witness and make it so that somebody who's watching or you're talking to at that moment will not see Christ.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest danger for me. And that's what concerns me the most, is I don't want my words or my tone or my attitude to affect somebody else coming to know Christ.
Be a stumbling block.
So just watch your words. Like I said, words in this day and age are abundant. And like I said, not everything needs to be said. Maybe I just need to go buy myself a muzzle. You know what I'm saying?
Keep it to
Not
yourself.
not really, okay? Gosh.
Keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself.
Mind your business.
Yep. Stay in your lane.
See your lane? Why don't you go ahead and stay in it?
Mm-hmm. Like I said, the the Psalms are just so full of just little bits of wisdom for us. If you haven't been reading them, I would suggest to go back and do them, and look at them from what perspective the Lord's trying to talk to you. Because otherwise, they just a lot of them just look like words you're just trying to read through. Mm-hmm. But if you have to take a moment and look at them, there are some pretty important things that are there.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot we can learn from David, and you begin to see why he was a man after God's own heart.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot that we can learn from his example. There's a lot we can learn not to do from his example, but there's a lot of things we can learn to do from his example as well.
Examples are good and bad.
Yep, absolutely. Watch your tongues. Make sure that what you say is all in line with what God wants you to say, which is a huge challenge.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all guys have a good one. We'll see you next time.